My wife told me our son isn't mine and her mother cheered. Hey Reddit, so I'm Ethan, 42, software engineer and apparently the biggest idiot walking. Married to Serena, who's always been, well, let's just say high maintenance. Her mom, Dolores, moved in after her dad died, and it's been a non-stop mother-daughter tag team ever since. They gang up on me about everything, and I just go along with it to keep the peace. Always thought I was being the good husband, the stable one. Turns out I've been played for a fool. Should have seen it coming, I guess. So yeah, how screwed am I? Last night changed everything. Leo was at a sleepover, so Serena, Dolores, and I were having dinner. A little too much wine maybe, but nothing crazy. Then, out of nowhere, Serena just laughs. This weird, almost manic laugh. Dolores is smirking and I'm like, what's so funny? And that's when she dropped the bomb. Oh, Ethan, she says, all sweet and condescending, Leo isn't yours. My stomach dropped, I literally felt the blood drain from my face. What? I stammered, I thought I misheard, I must have misheard. But Dolores chimes in, surprise, you weren't exactly optimal breeding stock, dear. Optimal breeding stock. Like I'm some kind of farm animal. I looked at Serena, begging her with my eyes to tell me this was some sick joke, but she just shrugged. You were the better algorithm, Ethan, better provider, simpler, algorithm. She actually used the word algorithm, like I was some kind of equation she solved to get what she wanted. I felt nauseous. My hands were shaking. I couldn't breathe. 12 years. 12 years I've raised this boy, loved him, provided for him, and they're telling me he's not mine. And they're laughing about it. I asked her who the father was. She just smirked and said it didn't matter, that it was ancient history. Dolores patted her hand like she was some kind of hero. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break something. Instead, I just sat there numb. My whole life, my entire reality, felt like it was crumbling around me. How could they do this? How could they be so cruel? So after they dropped that bomb, I somehow managed to choke out. When, how long have you known? My voice was trembling. I felt like I was going to throw up. Serena rolled her eyes. Since before Leo was born, obviously. Don't be so dramatic, Ethan. Dramatic. My wife just told me my son isn't my son and I'm being dramatic. Dolores decided to pile on. Honestly, Ethan, you should be grateful. You got a ready-made family. We spared you the messy baby stage. Spare me? They treated me like some kind of incubator, not a husband, not a father. An incubator. I tried to stay calm. I asked, why? Why wouldn't you tell me? Like there was some logical explanation for this level of deceit. Serena sighed like I was the one being unreasonable. Because it doesn't matter, Ethan. You're the one who provides for him. You're the one who's always here. What difference does it make? That's when it hit me. The cold, hard truth. It wasn't about Leo. It was about control. About money. They saw me as a walking ATM, a convenient sperm donor they could discard when they were done. My chest tightened. I could barely breathe. I stood up, pushing my chair back so hard it scraped against the floor. The noise seemed deafening in the sudden silence. Get out, I managed to say, my voice shaking with rage. Both of you, get out of my house. Serena just laughed. Oh honey, she said, all condescending. Where are you going to go? This is our house. Dolores, never one to miss an opportunity to twist the knife, added, you wouldn't want to upset Leo, would you? He needs stability. They were using my love for Leo against me, manipulating me, gaslighting me. That's when I knew. This wasn't a disagreement. This wasn't a normal marital spat. This was toxic. This was a war, and I was losing, badly. I stumbled out of the dining room, grabbed my keys, and just left. I'm sitting in my car now, shaking. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. My whole life feels like a lie. I'm so lost. Someone please tell me I'm not crazy. A week later and it's a dumpster fire. I'm barely functioning. Sleep? What sleep? I'm running on caffeine and pure, unadulterated rage. I can't focus at work. I keep checking the security cameras on my phone just to see. I don't even know what I'm looking for. Evidence of, I don't know, more betrayal. It's making me paranoid. And the worst part, Serena and Dolores are acting like nothing happened. Like dropping a truth bomb the size of a minivan into my life is just a Tuesday. They're going about their routines, chatting, laughing, it's sickening. They keep trying to engage me in normal conversation, asking about my day, offering me dinner. Like I can just forget that my entire life is a meticulously crafted lie, but that's not even the worst of it. No, they've escalated. They've brought in the flying monkeys. Serena's sister, Tiffany, called me yesterday. Tiffany, who I've always gotten along with, who I thought was a decent human being. She launched into this whole spiel about how I need to be the bigger person, how I need to think about Leo, and how Serena is going through a lot right now. I lost it. Going through a lot, I yelled. She lied to me for 12 years. She let me raise a child that isn't mine. And her mother cheered her on. What the hell is wrong with you people? Tiffany just sighed, like I was the one being unreasonable. Ethan, she said, her voice dripping with condescension, Serena just wants what's best for Leo. She knows you'll always be there for him no matter what. There it is again. The you'll always be there for him line, like I'm some kind of guaranteed paycheck, not a human being with feelings. I hung up on her. Then, this morning, I get a text from my own mother. My mother, who hasn't spoken to Serena or Dolores in years because of their general awfulness. The text said, Ethan, honey, I know you're upset, but family is family. You need to forgive Serena and move on. Forgive, move on. Are you kidding me? They've poisoned everyone against me. They've turned my entire world upside down and now they're playing the victims. I'm starting to feel like I'm losing my mind. I'm so angry I can barely see straight. I'm realizing this isn't going to blow over. This isn't something I can just ignore and hope it goes away. I have to fight, I have to protect myself. And most importantly, I have to protect Leo. I'm meeting with a lawyer tomorrow. This is war. So I finally broke down and talked to Maya. Maya's a colleague, brilliant software engineer, and probably the most level-headed person I know. She's been through some serious family drama herself, so I knew she wouldn't judge. Still, telling her, it felt like ripping off a bandage. I started stammering like a complete idiot. So, a funny story, turns out Leo isn't mine. She stopped typing, looked at me and her eyes widened. Wait, what? I just blurted it all out. The wine-fueled confession, the optimal breeding stock comment, the algorithm analogy, the whole sickening charade, the flying monkeys, everything, Maya's jaw dropped. Ethan, are you serious? Serena did what? She looked like she'd seen a ghost, which honestly was pretty much how I felt. I know, right? I said, rubbing my face. It's insane. I feel like I'm in some kind of twisted reality show. This is beyond messed up, she said, shaking her head. They're both monsters, absolute monsters. Hearing someone else say it, someone I respected, someone outside the crazy, it was validating. Then Maya, being Maya, got down to brass tacks. Okay, so what's your plan? Have you spoken to a lawyer? I shook my head. I have an appointment tomorrow, but honestly, I'm terrified. They've got everyone convinced I'm overreacting. Maya looked at me, her expression serious. Ethan, you are not overreacting. This is huge. They've systematically deceived and manipulated you for over a decade. You need to protect yourself legally and financially. She leaned forward, her voice low. Document everything. Every interaction, every text, every email. They've already shown they're willing to lie and twist the truth. You need to have a record. That was the turning point. Hearing her say that so calmly, so matter-of-factly, it was like a switch flipped in my brain. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. I was being gaslit, and Maya, bless her soul, saw right through it. She went on, and Ethan, she said softly, Leo, he's the priority here. Make sure you're thinking about what's best for him. This is going to be messy, but you need to be there for him, no matter what. I nodded, tears welling up in my eyes. I know, he's my whole world. Even if he wasn't biologically mine, he was my son, and I would fight for him. That conversation with Maya, it changed everything. It gave me the clarity and strength I needed to start fighting back. I wasn't alone. I had someone in my corner, and that, more than anything, gave me hope. This is far from over, but I'm not lost anymore. I know what I have to do. I was already a wreck. A walking zombie. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, barely functioning. I knew I needed to get out of that house, but something kept me there. Some pathetic sliver of hope that maybe, just maybe, there was a reasonable explanation for all of this. Yeah, I know, stupid, right? So I'm sitting on the couch, numb, staring blankly at the TV when I see Serena's iPad lying there. She's always leaving it around. Normally, I wouldn't even touch it, but something compelled me to pick it up. Call it morbid curiosity. Call it a desperate need for answers. Whatever it was a mistake. A huge mistake. She left it open to her messages. And right there at the top of the screen was a thread with Dolores. My heart started pounding. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the iPad. I knew I shouldn't look, I knew it. But I couldn't stop myself. The messages, they were from years ago, years before Leo was even born, and they were disgusting. He's such a sucker, one message from Serena Reed. Falls for everything. Dolores replied, he's a cash cow, honey, milk him for all he's worth. Cash cow. They were talking about me like I was some kind of farm animal. Again. There were messages about how to manipulate me, how to get me to pay for things, how to control my finances. They even discussed how to use Leo as leverage against me. Leverage, my own son. Just tell him you need a new car, Dolores wrote. He'll cave, he always does. Another message from Serena. He's so predictable, it's pathetic. Pathetic, that's how they saw me. A pathetic, predictable source of income, not a husband. Not a father, a tool. I scrolled through more messages, each one a gut punch. They talked about me with such contempt, such disdain. They mocked my hobbies, my interests, even my appearance. They called me boring, naive, and easily manipulated. They planned vacations I wasn't invited on, using money I earned. They even discussed how they would eventually phase me out once Leo was older. Phase me out. Like I was some kind of outdated software. It was like being skinned alive. Every word, every emoji, every casual, cruel joke, it was a dagger to the heart. That's when it hit me. The crushing, devastating realization that everything had been a lie. My marriage, my family, my entire life. A carefully constructed illusion designed to exploit me. The iPad slipped from my trembling hands and clattered to the floor. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. I stumbled to the bathroom and threw up. Everything I thought I knew, everything I believed in was gone, shattered, but then something shifted inside me. The nausea subsided, replaced by a cold, hard rage. The tears stopped and my vision cleared. I looked at myself in the mirror, really looked at myself, and I saw strength. I saw resolve. I saw a man who was done being a victim. The shock and disbelief were gone. The pain remained, a dull ache in my chest, but it was overshadowed by something else. A steely determination. A burning need to take control, to fight back. I walked out of the bathroom, picked up the iPad, and meticulously photographed every single message. Every single one. Then I put the iPad back where I found it, walked to my closet, grabbed my go bag, and walked out of the house. I didn't look back, I was done. This wasn't my home anymore. This wasn't my family. I was going to war, and I was going to win. All right, Reddit, buckle up, because this is where the real fun begins. After that gut-wrenching discovery on Serena's iPad, I knew I couldn't just sit around and wallow. This wasn't just about my hurt feelings anymore. This was about survival. This was about protecting myself, and most importantly, protecting Leo. First things first, I needed a safe space, away from the toxic tornado that was my house. Checked into a nearby hotel, a place where I could actually think without hearing their fake sweet voices. It felt weird, displaced, but also freeing. Then, I went into full ON warrior mode. I started gathering evidence like I was building a damn fortress. Printed out every single one of those disgusting messages from the iPad. Screenshots too, just in case. Started keeping a detailed log of every interaction with Serena and Dolores' phone calls, texts, even those fake concerned smiles they threw my way. Document everything, Maya said. She was right. Next, I contacted a shark of a divorce lawyer. A friend of Maya's recommended him, said he was ruthless, and that's exactly what I needed. Laid out the whole sordid story, showed him the messages. He didn't even flinch, just nodded, said, "We've got this." Hearing those words, feeling like someone was finally on MY side, it was a game changer. The lawyer advised me to get a DNA test for Leo. I knew in my gut he wasn't mine, but I needed proof. Needed it for the court, needed it for myself. Ordered the test, the wait was agonizing, but I kept busy. While waiting for the DNA results, I started getting my financial ducks in a row. Downloaded bank statements, investment records, everything. Made copies, stored them securely. Updated my will. Changed all MY passwords. Felt like I was playing a twisted game of chess, but the stakes were my life. I reached out to a few trusted friends, people I knew I could count on. Told them what was happening, explained that I might need their support. They rallied around me, offered to help with Leo, offered a place to stay, just offered to be there. It was a lifeline. Knowing I wasn't completely alone made all the difference. But the most important preparation wasn't practical. It was mental. I had to steel myself for the confrontation. I knew Serena and Dolores would try to manipulate me, guilt me, gaslight me. They'd use Leo as a pawn. I had to be ready. I spent hours visualizing the conversation, practicing what I would say, how I would react. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't plead. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction of seeing me break down. I would be calm, I would be firm, I would be unbreakable. I was done being their puppet. I was taking back my life. And I was taking Leo with me. This wasn't just about winning a divorce. This was about reclaiming my dignity. This was about justice. And I was ready. The DNA test results arrived. Just a piece of paper, but it felt like it weighed a ton. Not mine. Confirmation in black and white. a strange mix of relief and emptiness. I had the divorce papers couriered to the house, signature required. Time for the main event. I walked into the kitchen, the very room where they'd so casually shattered my world. Serena and Dolores were at the table, sipping coffee, oblivious to the storm about to hit. The courier had just left. Serena was holding the envelope, a puzzled look on her face. "What's this, Ethan?" she asked, her voice dripping with fake innocence. "It's what you deserve," I said, my voice calm, steady. No trembling, no pleading. This was a new Ethan. I placed the DNA results on the table, right between their coffee cups. "Exhibit A," I said, pointing to the document. "Leo is not my biological son." Serena's eyes widened slightly, but Dolores just scoffed. "So, we already told you that, dear," like it was some minor inconvenience. "Yes," I said, meeting her gaze. "You did, but now it's official and documented." I slid another document across the table, the divorce papers. Exhibit B, their faces finally registered something. Shock, disbelief. It was hard to tell, they'd perfected the art of the poker face, but I saw a flicker of fear in Serena's eyes. "Good. What is this?" Serena stammered, picking up the papers. "It's a divorce petition," I said, my voice unwavering. "You have 30 days to vacate the premises." Dolores slammed her hand on the table. "You can't do this," she shrieked. "This is OUR house." "No," I corrected her, "it's MY house." "And you're both trespassing." I looked directly at Serena. "I've spoken to a lawyer, I'm seeking full custody of Leo and I'm going to get it." That's when the panic set in. The carefully constructed facade crumbled. Serena's face went white. Dolores sputtered, trying to form words, but nothing came out. The power dynamic, the one they'd so carefully cultivated for years, had shifted, and they knew it. You wouldn't," Serena whispered, her voice trembling. "You wouldn't take Leo away from me." "He's not yours to take," I said, my voice hardening. "You've used him as a pawn in your sick game for long enough, this ends now." Dolores finally found her voice, but it was a pathetic whimper. "Ethan, please, we can work this out, we're family, family." The word felt like acid in my mouth. "No," I said, my voice rising for the first time. "You are not my family, you are con artists, you are manipulators, and you are out of my life." I pointed to the door. "Get out now." The look on their faces, priceless. Shock, fear, and a healthy dose of pure, unadulterated panic. They'd underestimated me. They'd thought I was weak, predictable, a pushover. They were wrong, dead wrong. I wasn't their cash cow anymore. I was a lion, and they were about to find out just how sharp my claws were. I stood there, watching them scramble, their reign of terror finally over. It wasn't just satisfying. It was liberating, I was free. Edit, holy crap Reddit, thanks for all the support. I'm still shaking but feeling stronger. This is just the beginning, I know it's gonna be a long road, but I'm finally on the right path. And Leo, he's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Update, the algorithm of betrayal aftermath. Wow Reddit, it's been 6 months since I dropped that bomb on you all and so much has changed. The dust has settled, the smoke has cleared, and I'm finally starting to see the landscape of my new life. It's complicated. The immediate fallout after I kicked Serena and Dolores out was chaotic. They tried everything. Sobbing, pleading, threatening. Dolores even tried to play the heart attack card, clutching her chest and gasping for air. I didn't budge, I called their bluff. An ambulance showed up, checked her out, and declared her perfectly fine. The paramedics gave me a look that said, "We've seen this before." The divorce proceedings were brutal. They dragged it out as long as they could, trying to bleed me dry. They lied, they manipulated, they tried to paint me as an unfit father, but I had Maya. And I had my lawyer, who was an absolute beast in the courtroom. He systematically dismantled their lies, presented the evidence I'd so meticulously gathered, and exposed them for the manipulative parasites they were. In the end, I won, full custody of Leo. The house, most of the assets. Serena and Dolores well, they got what they deserved. Nothing, they moved into a small apartment together, their relationship, from what I hear, strained to the breaking point. Karma, baby, it's been tough on Leo, of course. He's 12, caught in the middle of this mess. We've started therapy and it's helping. Slowly. He's angry, confused, and heartbroken. I'm trying my best to be there for him, to be the stable, loving presence he needs. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but I won't give up on him. Ever. One unexpected development, I met Leo's biological father. A guy named Mark. He's normal, a bit awkward but decent. He had no idea Leo existed. Serena had ghosted him years ago, apparently. We've talked a few times, even had dinner with Leo. It's a work in progress, but it's civil, surprisingly so. Leo seems curious. It's a complex situation, but we're navigating it carefully, one step at a time. My own mother, well, let's just say that relationship is still strained. She still can't quite grasp the level of deception and manipulation that went on. She keeps talking about forgiveness and moving on. I've tried to explain, but she just doesn't get it. I've accepted that she may never understand, and that's okay. I have other people in my life who do understand. People who have my back, people like Maya. As for me, I'm different. I'm not the same naive, trusting guy I was 6 months ago. This whole experience has ripped me apart and put me back together, stronger, harder, more aware. I've learned a hard lesson about trust, about boundaries, about the importance of self-preservation. I will never again compromise my own well-being for the sake of a false peace. Never, I'm even dating again. Cautiously. It's terrifying putting myself out there after what I've been through, but there are good people out there. I'm starting to believe that again. It's a slow process healing, but I'm getting there. One day at a time. So Reddit, that's where I'm at. It's a messy, complicated, and often painful journey, but I'm surviving. And sometimes, surviving is winning. Has anyone else out there been through something similar? How did you cope? How did you rebuild your life? Any advice for navigating this new, uncharted territory? I'm all ears.